Hello, today we are going to be making a marinade for some beef ribs. But before, I actually am just going to play around a little bit with this honeycomb. I actually don't know if I've had honeycomb before. I think I have. Um, it was just looking so good and I wanted to try it, and honeycomb always just looks better than what it tastes because it really just tastes like honey with tiny little pieces of wax, but it was nice.
So sweet.
It was sweet. It does taste good. It is good tasting honey. Here I am still trying to eat that because it looks like candy and I just love the way it looks. And because of that, I just keep putting it in my mouth. Now we're actually going to get to work. Now that we played around with some honeycomb, we're going to peel these green tomatoes here. I did about 8 tomatoes. I did 8 tomatoes. 8 green tomatoes is what I did. I got these at a Mexican store, but I don't know if... I think some, like, regular, like, stores, like Publix and, what's it called, Walmart, I think they also have them. Not all the time, though, but... Here, I'm just washing them because they actually can get really sticky. And I like to put a little bit of tin foil on the comal and set it on medium. And then I add a little bit of olive oil, and I use this because I don't want them to get stuck to the comal, because I use the comal to heat up tortillas and other stuff. So I don't know. I just don't want them to get stuck there. But now we're going to cut up 5 pieces of garlic. And I really hate peeling garlic, but the way I do it is I will just crush it with a knife and then remove the other stuff. And I'm not going to show you that I do it with every piece because honestly, it's a pain in the butt. And some of the little pieces, when I crushed it, they fell apart. So that's why it looks like there's a lot. And these are some of the chiles we're going to be using. Chile ancho and pasilla. And I use 2 chile pasillas because I really like the flavor of this. It's a little bit smoky. It is deep. It is warm. It is spicy. A little bit bitter. And they're very underrated in Mexican cuisine. Because if you know anything about Mexican food and Mexican cuisine, you'll know that the one that gets the most attention and love is the guajillo. And I think it's just a tad bit overrated. It tends to just kind of take over everything. That's why I just really wanted to use these pasillas. And then I'm just going to use 1 ancho because these dried peppers are so flavorful. So you really don't need a lot. And I just put everything on the comal just for a few minutes. If you... This is like... I really like this technique because it really brings out all the flavors. You can boil them. I can't guarantee what flavor you will get. It will probably make the taste more mild, but I guess if you're really into that, then go ahead. But I want my ribs to be bold and robust with flavor, and this is why I'm using this technique. And this is a recipe I'm really proud of because I made it myself. Nobody taught me. I just made it up myself with what flavors I thought I would like. And I'm just a regular schmegular mom. I just cook for my kids. That's why I'm proud of myself. I'm not a professional or anything like that. And this also caramelizes the green tomatoes a little bit. And it's so yummy. And I love that. And they look real pretty. And it gets them just soft enough just to make a marinade. And I've done not just marinades. I've done like some rubs with this as well. Done some sauces as well with these techniques. Last time I think I did like a rub, but this time it was more saucy because I used so many green tomatoes. I used so many green tomatoes because I got a pretty big rack of beef ribs, so I really didn't want it to not be enough. So that's why I did 8. If I had done less, I probably would have just made it into a rub instead, but I really wanted to make sure that the flavor was just right for the amount of meat I had. And I think I just kind of put the camera a little bit too long on the tomatoes. I just probably just liked the tomatoes too long. But we just blame my daughter because she's the one that was in charge of the camera. Oh, just look at how cute and glossy these caramelized little green tomatoes look. And sometimes I try to get them on their sides so they could cook all around, but it's a little bit hard, you know. We just do what we can with what we have. These were particularly round, healthy, delicious ones. When they're a little bit more deformed, you could get them on their side. Or when they're a little bit more ripe, because they're so much softer, you could just kind of mush them on their side. But these are very perfect. So it was just very hard to get them on their side. We just could just do the bottom and the top of them, and that was fine. Now we're just gonna put the garlic in with the peppers in the blender. And the peppers do not get, they don't get softer. They actually get a little crunchier, but it really brings out the smokiness in it. That's why I like doing the technique as well. I think I'm gonna leave these just a tad bit longer. They're a little bit charred, a little bit caramelized, but I do want to see a little bit more because the more they heat up, the softer the middle becomes, and it's actually easier to make a marinade like that with it being softer. And I can't tell you how long this took. I mean, probably about 5 minutes, but we're going to add the honey now while that still cooks. And because the honey is just so thick and sticky, it just kind of sticks so much to the spoon. But we're just going to do 1 spoonful because I don't want to overwhelm it so that it only tastes like really, really sweet or like just honey. So I'm just going to do just 1. And because it's so sticky, I'm going to grab one of those little dry pods. And I'm just going to kind of try to get off as much of the honey from the spoon as possible. And yes, the spoon was washed. I either grabbed a new spoon or washed it. But I did use the honey spoon to grab the green tomatoes because I like to warm up any excess honey that would have stayed on the spoon. I also like the aromatics from the sweet honey and the savory green tomato. It smells beautiful. It looks beautiful. This is my favorite part, getting them all glossy. And now they are all going to go in the blender. Look how beautiful that looks. This is like my favorite part of it. Just seeing how beautiful they caramelize. Just playing around. And I hope that this, makes you guys want to make your own recipes, and maybe you could share them as well. See, I am a foodie. Only foodies talk like that. Tell me she's not beautiful. Tell me she's not beautiful. And if you're a Hispanic American, I'm Mexican American personally. I like both ribs. I like, Mexican style ribs, and I also like the American style ribs. Do you have a favorite? I don't know that I have a favorite. I like making them my way. And because I like, a lot of the stuff that we do as Mexicans when we make our food a little bit spicier. But I also like that Americans make it a little bit sweeter. So I just kind of did a little combo in this marinade here. And I've been known to oversalt things, so I am just going to do just 1 small little handful of salt. And actually, once the ribs were done, I realized that I could have definitely added more salt. Nonetheless, the ribs were pretty delicious. I love this peppercorn medley. So I'm going to just add a little bit because I love this peppercorn medley. Everything about it, I just love it. And today, I just felt like deepening the flavor with half a teaspoon of comino, ground cumin. And I don't usually add this, but something just told me, my intuition was speaking loudly and I listened, and you're going to see that I actually did not have enough liquid. I'm actually usually able to rely on the liquid from the green tomato, but not today. I don't know if it was how I positioned the stuff. But nonetheless, I had a bunch of limes that I had to use anyway, so I went ahead and just grabbed one. It wasn't a great lime, but it got me there because it did have enough juice to get get the blending started. And I actually blended for, I want to say 4 to 5 minutes, because I blended until all the seeds are pulverized. And my daughter doesn't show that all the way, but you will see once the marinade is done that there's no seeds, and that's because the seeds have been pulverized from blending them for so long. And you really have to be patient with this. And I actually learned this from a friend. And now we have our nice little beef rack out. Our little ribs are out. And we are just spreading that all over the place. And if you hear my little comment of me feeling myself, it is just because I'm eating whatever I want and I'm still losing weight. So very happy about that. Maybe I'll share that journey. I'm not really sure. I'm very shy about my weight, so I don't know. And I'm going to turn it around because I know it's mostly fat, mostly like that thing on that side, but I just still like the way it looks, and I like the way it tastes better as well. And we're just going to put all the extra at the top, and we're going to wrap it up as well. Look at that. Wrapping it up and just putting it in the fridge for about 2 hours now. After 2 hours, we're going to preheat the oven to 375, and we are putting it in the oven for an hour.
Yeah, 1 hour.
I'm just gonna block you, but I hear you singing.
Just as it came out the fridge, that's just exactly how it's going into the oven.
Give me a minute. I need to pull this out.
Alright, my signature thumb wiggle. And it looks like it is done, but we are not actually done. What we're going to do now is we are going to open it, and watch me try to open it with nothing but a napkin or my hands like a dork, which I knew was not going to work. I of course went to go grab a fork so I can open it up, because as you're going to see right now, the meat is very juicy still. It's very wet, but I like mine to be a little bit charred.
Now it's open.
So what we're going to do is we're going to open it, and we're just going to put it back in the oven half the time, just 30 minutes this time. And it's going to soak up so much more of the marinade. It's going to get a little bit more charred. It's going to get a little bit more deepened. It's going to get warmer. The flavor's going to be warmer, and it's going to be perfect. Here it is. Do you see that? I love that. Me and my partner both, we love when our food's a little bit charred. He likes his food a little bit burnt, but it wasn't burnt. It was perfect. I don't like my food, especially not this type of food. I don't like it to be too raw, and I don't like it to be overcooked either. So this one was good. Look how juicy it is. My mouth is watering just looking at it. And honestly, there was just not enough of this. I really feel like I should have made 2, because it is just completely gone already. Which is rare in my house. We have a lot of leftovers. And of course, I tasted it. It tasted like heaven. And then I served it to my man, and he absolutely loved it. And then the kids just kind of devoured it. Please comment if you have made your own marinade as well. Thank you guys for watching.